Welcome to the Binge List. I am your host, Paul Chappell, and I had a chance this weekend to watch the Challenger documentary, Challenger Final Flight. And I usually wouldn't have watched this, but I was kind of interested because I saw a similar documentary about the Russian space program. And the major point of that documentary was the fact that the Soviet Union was so prone to lying about their success and failures, especially their failures. And in fact, we don't even know if Yuri Gagarin actually was the first man in space, because there is some theory that there was another astronaut that was less photogenic that was actually the first astronaut. And because he was injured during his first entry into space, they used Yuri Gagarin. So there's a lot of theories about that. That's not what this video is about. But it's interesting because I watched this documentary about the Soviet space program. Don't remember the name of it, but it was really good. It came in my feed on YouTube. And I thought, man, that was such a contrast with the American space program, right? From what I remember, we found out what happened to Challenger. It was the O-ring failure in the solid rocket boosters. I remember learning about that. I think I read it in some science magazine when I was a kid. Okay, let me back up a little bit though. When this disaster happened, I was in 5th grade, and I'm ashamed to say this, but me and my buddies, we thought it was funny that a teacher had died in a shuttle accident because we hated teachers. We hated our whatever teacher we had at that time. It's funny because I don't even remember any of my elementary school teachers. That has been that long. You think you won't forget stuff like that? You will forget it eventually. But anyway, so yeah, I'm ashamed to admit that we made fun because we didn't watch it live like a lot of schools for whatever reason. I remember our teacher gathering us up front and telling us about the disaster. And I just remember this side look I gave to one of my buddies, and we just start giggling. Oh, a teacher died. How funny. And if you watch this documentary, you will be blown away at how great a person Christa McAuliffe was. I mean, she was just a phenomenal. In case you don't already know, let me go ahead and tell you what happened. The space shuttle Challenger had a solid rocket booster failure, and it killed the whole crew on launch, like 73 seconds after the launch. One of the astronauts on board was actually a school teacher. She was going to be the first civilian astronaut, and this is a big deal because NASA was pushing for this image that space travel was going to be as safe as air travel. So there was a lot of propaganda involved with this flight, and it just literally blew up in their face. And I thought there was no cover up until I watched this documentary, and apparently there was a big cover up. It was and I did not know this. It was a known issue. This O-ring flaw in the solid rocket booster was a known problem that NASA had been dealing with, but because they had so many flights to do, I think they had 16 scheduled that year. And basically their funding with Congress was tied into how they performed on how many space flights they made. So that's the reason they kind of ignored that O-ring problem. And it was known to get worse with cold weather. And that morning, I think it was below freezing. So they should not have flown this shuttle, but they went ahead and did it because, like I said, there was so much pressure to keep their funding and to keep on schedule. And I didn't know any of this. I thought we were so much better than the Soviet Union, and we were a lot better, because one of the things it stresses in this documentary is the reason NASA wasn't able to cover it up was because we had a functioning media. It's because some of the people put on the committee that oversaw this disaster were not government toadies, basically. So we were better than the Soviet Union in a lot of respects, but in a lot of respects, we had some of the same problems they had. We were engaged in this war, this Cold War with Soviet Union. So much of what the NASA program was doing was trying to counteract what the Soviet Union was doing. That's why we were so eager to get on the moon first, because they had gotten into space first, and so on and so forth. So there was a lot of propaganda issues, a lot of competition issues. Competition is good. Don't get me wrong. It does work wonders for the advancement of technology. I'm not knocking that, but yeah, I was shocked by this documentary, and I encourage anybody who doesn't know this story, watch this documentary. It's only like 4 episodes long. And again, I want to apologize to Crystal McCullough's family. Although y'all don't know, you probably won't even watch this, or whoever you are. I know her husband and their children survived, but if you're watching this, I am so sorry I made fun. I was a kid. I was dumb. I talked to my wife about this whole disaster. Everybody my age remembers where they were when they heard the news about this. It's just one of those things. It's kind of like 9/11 in a lot of ways. I remember where I was in 9/11. I remember where I was during the Challenger disaster and how I got the news. There are just these seminal moments from my childhood that I remember, and this was a big one. Even though, like I said, I acted kind of immaturely to the news. But yeah, it was pretty good. It just reaffirmed what I feel about our system being just better than anything in the world. And in fact, we're seeing that threatened now. And I won't get into politics, but if you watch the news, you know what I'm talking about. So hopefully we'll get through some of these rough patches that we've experienced in the last 4 years. We will move on. We will get stronger. And hopefully the whole world will follow us, although there's a lot of things in other countries that are better than the United States, like healthcare, for instance. Won't get political, but I don't know. You just got to think about these things. But anyway, that's all I got for today. I'd like to thank my subscribers. Encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell if you're already a subscriber. Give me a comment, give me a like, give me a dislike. If you don't like what I'm talking about, if you don't like my opinion, let me know in the comments. I will respond to you. We'll have a healthy debate. I have no problem with doing that. But yeah, that's all I got for today. And I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching.